Any honourable member wishes to speak? Member for Pandi.
Tuan Speaker, on issue concerning Sarawak immigration autonomy, it seems that the State BN government is blowing its own trumpet by claiming to have full autonomy over it, while in actual fact it is Putrajaya that is running the show. I wish to let this August House know how powerless Sarawak government is when it concerns immigration autonomy. Firstly, the Sarawak state government does not have any independent authority over immigration matters. We cannot deny that all immigration policies and guidelines are decided and controlled by Putrajaya. What we have here is only administrative rights, endorsing what the Putrajaya direct and the state to do so. Secondly, how can we claim we have full immigration autonomy rights when we do not even have the basic data system to capture all the information of the people travelling in and out of the state? We absolutely have no idea on the personal details, the number of people, their country of origin, or even West Malaysian who came here. We are also not sure if we were outnumbered by non-Sarawakians, either legal or illegal. When West Malaysians came in by doves to work, we are not sure if they enter with work permit or abuse their social visit pass, as many of the West Malaysian Petronas workers are in fact using this loophole to work here. Do not pretend you are unaware of this charade. Thirdly, if we were to inquire from the state government to produce offhand the statistic of the number of foreigners or West Malaysians who are married to locals, or the number of legal, illegal foreign workers in Sarawak, I'm sure you will at a loss. You will not be able to furnish the information, but instead you still have to call Putrajaya and rely on their information, which can or not be true. By allowing such situation to continue, do you not realize the danger and threat caused to our own state? Would you dare to trust Putrajaya, given that we have been bullied and robbed by them for the past 54 years? Furthermore, though it is the Chief Minister's office who gives consent to the approval of entry permit, but the final approval of granting Sarawak PR status still lies with Putrajaya. So do the government, Sarawak government, realize the limitation of its power? Tuan Speaker, on the aspect of the application of work permit, all levies imposed collected belong to the federal and not us. We do not benefit from the collection at all. Do you find this fair, and will you still claim you have full autonomous power? When I highlighted this issue in the media a few months ago, there was defending silence from the Sarawak state government. Why is there no answer? Please do not act like an ostrich and pretend that you are powerful to have immigration autonomy. Even a simple access to the entry system of the immigration department, Sarawak is unable to have it. Do not forget, Sarawak has an area almost the size of West Malaysia. Immigration matter is very important and should not be taken lightly. It is time for our state government to set up our own system to solve all these problems I have highlighted, instead of sitting on it. I want answers from Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister regarding the action to be undertaken by the state government to wrestle back our immigration autonomy. Tuan Speaker, lately, Sakofa, a private company controlled by CMS Group of companies, which belongs to a family we all know who, had been going around constructing telecommunication towers and all monopoles in areas which are either too near to residential houses and or erected on land which are supposed to be used for recreation, park or playground. By doing so, Sakofa had antagonized many of the local residents and create uproar among the people. These include telecommunication towers built at Taman Supreme, SJK Bintawa, Stamping Tengah, Haji Baki, and Parinson, Mile 12. The construction of the towers was usually done in quiet, sneaky, and fast and furious manner, which is contrary to what was advertised in the advertisement of Sakofa. What was printed in the advertisement seemed pleasant and expressly emphasized on public engagement when it comes to the building of the towers. I have not seen Sakofa having any courtesy to hold dialogue session with the affected residents prior to the construction of the tower, even with Taman Supreme residents submitting the petition stating their strong objection against the construction of the towers. At the present site, Sakofa just ignored the pleas of the residents. Tuan Speaker, the residents are concerned over their health. knowing the serious effects of the radio frequency electromagnetic radiation emissions from the antenna affixed onto the towers in the long run. Is SACOFA and all our state government is prepared to give 100% assurance to the people that there will be no health hazard at all if one were to be in long-term contact with the radiation? Everyone has a life on it, including you and me, so no one would like to risk their life over the towers, including yourself, Mr. Speaker. So why do SACOFA and the BN state government try to shove it down their throats, forcing the affected residents to accept the decision to build the towers at unsuitable sites? If SACOFA and BN leaders insist that the towers are safe and health hazard free, then by all means prove to the people by building them near or within the minister and BN leaders' houses. I am confident to say that by doing so, the public will be fully convinced that the radio frequency electromagnetic radiation emission from the antenna is harmless. So why don't you set a good example? After all the BN leaders, ministers' houses have big compounds, including Speaker, your house too. In addition to that, by having the tower constructed too near the houses, it will definitely cause the value of the property to drop, as it is considered as an obstruction, and to some people, it brings back feng shui. For those who believe in feng shui, they fear that their good qi in their houses will be drained away and bring bad luck eventually. This is no laughing matter. This is also not superstitious. Let me enlighten this house. In case you are not aware, since the time Kuching Barrage was built in 1997, it has always been the talk of the town that one of the reasons as to why the barrage must be built is because it will bring good feng shui to the nearby big mansion along Sarawak River, as the water level will be controlled and kept at certain level. We all know who owns that big house. That is why until today, he can stay strong, powerful, and some more have a young, beautiful wife by his side. So please, do not brush it off as superstitious.
You mean because of the water, is it?
Sorry?
Because of the water?
Yes, water is feng shui, and it brings money. It's called wealth, to the feng shui study. Tuan Speaker.
Batu Kitang,
Yes, Batu Kitang. What do you want to ask?
are you taking?
Can, no problem. You give me injury time.
Thank you, Honorable.
He's
Member for
interested in feng shui, I think.
No, I'm interested in your question on, your subject on SACOFA. We're going to build another 7,000 towers, 5,000 towers. How are we going to build it if we follow your style and have a public forum for every tower that we're going to build? How are we going to achieve this ICT that we are going to achieve? Thank you.
You see, that is the difference between a BNYB and an opposition YB. The BNYB only cares about the interests of SACOFA, that's Crony's company, whereby we fight for the interests of the people. That's why we emphasize that the residents must be informed. You must engage the residents, their wishes, their view and opinion must be respected in certain degree. So don't act, don't protect the cronies. So I hope that this Batu Kitang, you are the chairman of this Padawan, and I hope that all your policy implemented also care about the public, take the public interest into account. In actual fact, the 5,000 is only the hot air blown by the Yang Amat Chief Minister. No concrete land yet, okay? In case you do not know. Tuan Speaker, it is pertinent for the state government to formulate clear guideline and policy over the construction of SACOFA telco towers in the state. This is because at present, I was made to understand that many things has bypassed the State Planning Authority and Land and Survey Department. This is not right. Despite it being a crony company, the state government should not let a situation to happen and allow SACOFA all the free hands to do things just because the business belongs to that powerful man of all time in Sarawak. Speaking on behalf of all the residents from the 5 telco sites that I mentioned above, particularly Taman Suprin site and SJK Bintawa site, I hereby call upon the state government to direct Sakofa to dismantle the towers immediately and relocate them to a more suitable sites. This is the people's wish. Being the government of the day, you are duty-bound to look after the people's interests and not the interests of cronies company. Taman Suprin site is built to serve Viva City Shopping Mall and not the residents staying there. As for SJK Bintawa Telco Tower, it is built too near the houses. The distance between the tower and the house fence is only 13.5 meters. Since Sarawak is moving towards ICT era, the Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister himself should personally take charge of this pertinent issue and solve it once and for all, so to prevent the people from being bullied by Sakofa. Tuan Speaker, we all know that Sarawak state tourism is in tatters despite it was under the hands of our Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister for many years before he passed it on to the present minister. It is so embarrassing to see Kuching Hong Kong, the direct flight has stopped operating since February 25th this year, which is less than a year time after it started without any reason being given. Furthermore, it is so ironic to see that Kuching Airport, being an international airport, we only have 2 international routes, that is Singapore and Pontianak. Is this not a great shame to us? Why was the situation not improved under the hands of our Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister during his tenure as the State Tourism Minister, but instead deteriorated? It is really puzzling to see the tourism industry sliding to an old low. Early this year, Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister made an announcement that Sarawak government is actively promoting incoming tourists from China. But when I got hold of a leaflet from one of the travel agencies in Chengdu, China, on Tourism Malaysia, I was shocked to notice that there was nothing at all about Sarawak. This is the leaflet. Inside here, it only promotes West Malaysia, Sabah, even Singapore, and nothing on Sarawak. And this is Tourism Malaysia leaflet. And I got this from Chengdu, China. So the content of the leaflet, I believe this is one of the contributing factors to our failure in promoting Sarawak. Why is our State Tourism Ministry allowing such a blunder to happen? If Sarawak is to focus on the huge China tourism market, Sarawak Tourism Ministry should ensure all the information about Sarawak tourist attractions, cultures and food, etc. are included in the tourism leaflet. Earlier on, the Assistant Minister of Tourism himself even admitted that Sarawak is losing out to its neighbour, Sabah and Brunei, in tapping China tourism dollars. He also said most tourists from China know about Sabah and Brunei but have not heard of Sarawak, although we are on the same Borneo Island. Hence, immediate steps must be taken to resolve these shortcomings. At the same time, it is also high time for the state government to upgrade and improve the very rundown Sarawak Cultural Village and Sarawak Museum to prevent more negative feedbacks from the tourists that will further tarnish the image of our Sarawak tourism industry. Tuan Speaker, for the past 30 years, the residents staying at BDC resettlement scheme, which is only a stone throw away from the Kuching city, have been deprived of the rights of enjoying proper basic infrastructure. The BN government has chosen to turn a blind eye to the plight of almost 5,000 people living there, despite their problems have been highlighted endless time to MPKS and the Ministry of Local Government. In 2012, Honourable Member for Kota Sentosa had even submitted an observation and survey report on the area to the Chief Minister Office, DID, JKR and MPKS for their action. Yet, it is shameful to note that no action taken at all to solve the problems highlighted. If one would drive around the area, it is not difficult to notice that all lorongs within the area have no proper drains. Most of the drains are still mud drains, which are seriously clogged with grass wells, siltation, and thus creating pools of stagnant water which breed mosquito and pests. The condition can be so bad that there is no outlet point for water which discharge from the house to flow out into the nearby river, as both sides of the neighbouring houses have blocked the outlet drain. This is the situation that is happening now at Lot 6155, Lorong 35, whereby all the water discharged from the house cannot flow out but gather in front of the house, thereby creating a pool of stagnant water which emits pungent smell and breeds mosquito. By bringing up this specific case, I hope MBKS can take immediate step to solve the problem. In addition, other serious problems include narrow, low-lying roads that are prone to flash floods during high tide and rainy days, roads that are full of potholes, poor rubbish collection service, soil erosion problem, no regular maintenance to trim the overgrown weeds and shrubs, lack of fire hydrant, etc. The lorongs that are either low-lying, prone to constant flash flood and full of potholes include lorongs 10, 12, 14, 17, 22, 22A, 30, 35, 39, and 43. It is said to know that MBKS is only good and efficient in collecting assessment rates, but does not care to improve the area's basic amenities as though they don't exist. The appointed SUPP councillor responsible for the area are sleeping too. Tuan Speaker, do you know that 50% of the residents staying at BDC resettlement scheme are voting for BN all these years? They are BN strong supporters, but in return, they do not deserve a decent service and treatment from the BN government. This is called undi BN, tapi janji dicapati. It is even sickening to see that all this year, SUP past candidate for Kota Sentosa and Stampin, including the present SUPP potential candidate, have used this poor basic infrastructure issue at BDC resettlement scheme as a carrot stick to hoodwink the voters to vote for BN. BN is the government of the day, and yet we have this bunch of SUPP people coming out in the street to shout about the problem, which BN as a government refuses or incapable to solve, and try to put the blame on the opposition for not solving the problem. Let me say this is not a smart move, it is a stupid move. By doing this, SUP is only making a mockery over itself, given that the Minister for Local Government is the Honourable Member for Batu Kawah, who is also the President of SUPP, and the problem at BDC resettlement scheme cannot be solved until today. Kasih SUP orang jadi minister pun tak guna. It is so embarrassing that SUP cannot even differentiate the role of a ruling government and the opposition, including the President himself. They cannot understand the role of a hen is to lay eggs, and the role of a cock is to make the hen lay eggs. And that also speaks for itself. Why DCM post, the Deputy Chief Minister's post, was given to the Honourable Member for Bukit Sari and not Batu Kawah? Yes. About the hen.
How do you explain that? Batu Kawah and Batu Kitang today, just flood mitigation alone, we have more than 20 million. Apart from the millions, 30 million for this Maris funds in Padawan today. How do you explain that? Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you are not the minister, but looks like today you are practicing to be one of the minister. But I'm telling you, Batu Kitang, the problem I raise here is about BDC. Of course, it would be good that you have all the funds to improve the flood mitigation project. But as to BDC resettlement scheme, the problem have not been solved for the past 30 years. That is the issue. So why don't you solve it? Why you let your people, let the voters that vote for you to suffer? You ask yourself, is this fair? To ask the people to vote for you, but you janji kosong and you don't do anything. And even the role of a hen and a cock, you cannot differentiate. You are expecting a cock to lay eggs. Do you think that possible? Hence, it is high time.
Member for Meradong use the word cockerel. Don't use the word.
I'm pending.
Member for Pending, don't use the word. What do you use? Use cockerel.
Cocaine. How do you spell that, Mr. Speaker?
The pronunciation is more important.
Okay. Cocaine. I stand guided.
I give you injury time, you're finished.
Hence, it's time for the government to come up with an effective drainage system plan and solve all the basic infrastructure at BDC. Tuan Speaker, my last issue, there is many Malaysian nightmares started on April 1st, 2015, when they were faced with a dread future as the implementation of GST took effect. From what I know, because of GST, the laymen, small-time businesses, sectors across the board and middle class suffer tremendously due to the increment of price of goods of everything from grocery products, food items, raw housing materials, public transport, medicine, healthcare, university, education fee, etc. Nothing was paid. Life remains difficult and tough for the people who are trying to cope daily, with many forcing to carry out several jobs to survive in this difficult time. Even our Prime Minister has the cheek to ask the rakyat to become Uber driver to earn extra income to survive. No wonder it was said 40% of Malaysian workforce are under depression. The whole economic market came crashing down, with many businesses forced to close shop due to their inability to cope with the effect of GST. This is exactly what is happening now in Kenyalang Commercial Centre. If we observe Kenyalang Commercial Centre, whereby during the good old days before the implementation of GST, all the shop lots were fully occupied. But today, if you were to go around the area, many of the shop lots are empty and businesses are closing down one by one. GST is killing off businesses. Hence, GST is an evil tax and must be cancelled. Let me say this loud and clear in this August House. If Pakatan Harapan were to win the next general election and rule the country, there shall be no GST. The 6% GST will be cancelled and replaced with a zero-rated GST. Tuan Speaker, on another aspect, under Part 5 of Schedule 10 of the Federal Constitution, additional sources of revenue assigned to State of Sabah and Sarawak, the state government shall be entitled to the revenue from state sales tax. The implementation of GST by the federal government has in fact encroached into the state entitlement of sales tax. All those goods that the state government would have imposed with sales tax and earned revenue therefrom are now subject to GST. Therefore, the state government, by consenting to the federal government to impose GST in Sarawak, is in fact surrendering its rights over sales tax to the federal government, while making all Sarawakians to pay to sustain the federal government. Of course, there are certain items where on top of GST, the people in Sarawak are paying double tax, additional sales tax. Example is the 10-cent tax lottery tickets on lottery tickets, and that alone amounts to 120 million in 2016. In other words, for the purchase of lottery ticket, we are paying double taxes. In light of our state right over sales tax, the BN government should not delay further, but see to it that the federal government stop collecting GST in Sarawak, as that amounts to an erosion of our state rights. So much for the demands for more autonomy for Sarawak, as much acclaimed by the state BN government, yet it allows the people of Sarawak to suffer for nothing, while the government fails to defend the existing rights that are still currently enshrined in our constitution. Last, 3 more paragraphs. In fact, this matter has been brought up by oral member for Kota Sentosa even before the implementation of GST. The reply he received then was that state government will look into the matter. However, GST has now been implemented for 2 years, more than 2 years, and why is the state government still looking into it, while every day the people of Sarawak is suffering under the yoke of GST? Why is the government not doing anything about it? Therefore, once again, I urge that before you even boast about wanting to get back additional rights for the state government should defend the existing rights that we currently have under the Constitution, but is undermined and circumvented right under our nose, in particular the rights over sales tax and its erosion in the name of GST. And with that, I conclude. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ahli yang berhormat bagi meradong.
Penting. Sorry.